Hello. So, I just had a really lovely chat with Justin Michael. My first time live on YouTube, which was very cool. So definitely check out Justin. Michael, I've known him for a little while, and I always enjoy interacting with him. So, this is sort of like part 2 of my project of where I'm working with Tarot Marseille majors, tracing them and looking at nuances. So I had left off with it was the Hermit. So I have it drawn. There's some stuff to clean up, like like that, and like making the edges look a little bit nicer before I scan it in. So this project is developing, and I'm going to retouch up some of the areas because I want to get it down first and then go back and sort of refine the image. Like the eyes, if the eyes look wonky and stuff like that. So, what have I noticed about some of the things? There's a hood here. It's got a tassel. The robes sort of part. The inside is almost dark, like this one he's holding up, which is different. I tried to maintain some of the same lines, maybe not the same number of lines, like with the crosshatch, the shading, but it does a good job, sort of indicating like fabric, how it's going. The Wheel of Fortune was really interesting. So you have these impish creatures, and here, so we have, you crank the handle goes off the picture, and also the bottom of this goes off. But you have these monkeys, which are almost like caricatures of humans. This one almost looks like he's wearing a skirt, and he's going down. Then we got the one going up. If you notice, this was really strange, and I thought this was particularly significant. If you look here, he has ears on his head, but then he has a garment with ears, which sort of reflects the Fool, the Holy Fool, and he also has sort of that dress coming off the back. But the ears, there's the ears attached, and they're the ears that are on the garment, which could mean like this one, crank, it's obviously going up. The Fool, the amateur, the uninitiated, the everything that the Fool embodies, becoming the crown of knowledge, the sword. It even has the wings sort of reflecting of a cape, and then the downward fall. So rising, pinnacle, apex, zenith, and then the fall. I thought that was really interesting. I'd never noticed that before, and I would never have noticed that. Here we have force. So her finger is balancing on the bottom jaw very delicately, and I love that. So I really put that there. The teeth are very jagged. They're going inward. The foot is exposed. The foot has an extra toe on almost all the decks I've looked at. So I'm looking at the Noble, I'm looking at the Dodal now, the Jodorowsky Camoin, the Pensée. She has an extra toe, which is really weird. But I didn't notice that before. An extra toe. Some cats are born with extra toes. It's interesting that there's we have a feline creature there. Here we have the Fool. One thing I didn't notice was his pockets. One is sort of up, one is down, almost like a yin-yang. For this, I went and changed. I should tell you what I've changed on some of these. the tongue is sticking out and the hand's behind the back. I kind of like that the hands are sticking out. Looks kind of weird, but I like that. And the tongue sticking out almost like a Medusa, a Gorgon. I kept that. I just want those two are usually the same in the Marseille. Death is missing a foot. I thought that was interesting. There's no foot there. Where's the foot? He also has a pocket in his little garment. And he's holding this. One hand is fleshy, one hand is bone, and he's reaping. You got the disembodied things, but also you have a lot of foliage. For some reason in death, there is a lot of vegetation growing. So you see it here, and I've recreated it there. There's also like a rib bone there. But his foot is gone. It's either in the grass, so it's almost like humanity is being cut down, being made humble, and the earth is going wild again, which I thought was kind of interesting. Yeah, it was pretty neat. I made the spine a little knobby, and then yeah, so I'll refine this a little bit more. Just the original sketch. Here we have Temperance, Transmutation. She has sort of a belt thing there. Some of the Marseille decks I've seen, they have the circle or the element in the chest. For some reason, the 4 triangles up here. We have the flower, which of course is repeated in the denier. I always have problems with that word. They're basically the pentacles, the coins. There's also a round circle there, and in some decks there's a double circle there. We have a shoe appearing, a little foot poking out, which I did there. I think that's it. But to me, when I was recreating the water, it looks like the water is traveling upward. It's mixing, but it's traveling upward, and so it's sort of going into this interesting state. This is the one I had a lot of fun with. I added eyes in the knees and the stomach because some of the decks, earlier decks, have that. We have the hermaphrodite, we have the genitals, and we have the breasts. And some people have said this is almost like a belt, almost like a strap-on. So we have the knowledge of the torch of knowledge. We have the hand, we have the tongue sticking out. The chained imps, the people. We have the feminine one here. You can tell by the face. The face is very, with the hat, little ears poking out. And also the horns there. I like the expression on her face, how it ended up. It looks like she's biting her bottom lip, like looking at the man like, what have you done to get me into this situation? She has 3 dots there. They seem to always 3 dots. Now, talking with Justin Michael today, he was talking about Pythagorean numerology. I wonder if that has something to do with that. That's really interesting. And again, these are just the rough sketches. So to kind of tell you what I'm doing, so the next one I'm embarking on is the tower. So what I do is I do a general tracing, and then I take the paper away, and then I start filling in the details, changing things, doing things. Some I change a lot. Well, I change enough, and then I change. Like for this one, I will not change the circles. And like I have noticed that on some Marseilles, this is a screened window, whereas those are open windows. And there is actually a door on the, which deck? The Jodorowsky deck actually put a door there, and I don't agree with that. I don't think there should be a door there, but everything else is pretty much spot on. So looking at little differences like that, I'm really kind of weary about that. So let me show you what else I've been doing. So, I've been, well, this has turned into a little project of mine, and it's for me, but I thought I'd open it to other people enjoying it as well. So if you didn't know, I sew and I embroider, and I decided to recreate a tarot back in silk and linen. So what I'm going to do is scan this in, and this will actually be the back of a card, a Majors, Marseille Majors only card deck that I'm going to put on make playing cards. And so I thought that would be pretty cool. Something very personal, something I do. Scan this in. I'm using just a blue sort of color. I might do a darker blue, and then I'm going to scan this in, and that will be the repeating back for the backs of it. And then, which I had mentioned before, I finally have my pastel pens. These are Faber-Castell. These are nicer ones. So I'm going to stick with black, dark green, blue, yellow, light green, and red. And use any other colors. I might use a light blue. Not sure yet. I'll know. I got my tourbillons too, which I could make, but I bought these because they were dirt cheap, to help with blending some, which I'll do minimal blending. And then I also got Flesh pencils. These are Pazzler. It's an English company. And so this peach color here is perfect for matching up with the skin tones, because most of the Marseille decks actually have fleshed out, and I do want to recreate that. But I also have some of the other colors to kind of add. I have this kind of yellowish color, but I want to stick with fairly minimal colors to kind of recreate that sort of printer look. But yeah, so that's the update. Oops, for the back, I'm not done yet. I'm gonna do something else with it, and I need to like line it up, because when I started the stitching, I wanted the borders to be completely even, so I'm gonna move them a little over, just so it all blends. Because working on linen, if you've ever worked on linen, you know that the slubs and you can see right here, you know, the warp and the weft can be quite challenging, because you count each little open area. And I wanted something I actually spent time with, and something that I actually dedicated thought to for the back. There's the back. Fairly neat as far as stitching goes. I try to keep it neat, especially this is somewhat transparent as far as a fabric, but it's a nice linen, and I'm embroidering with silk, Krennic silk, which is one of my favorites to work with. Silk is actually nicer to work with than cotton, to be honest, because it doesn't knot up as much. The fibers, a lot of people are scared of working with silk, but I don't mind. I've worked with it before, and I have some really nice colors I can do stuff with. So I might do something in the middle of every other circle, maybe a little square or something, just to kind of get a repeating pattern like they would with a Marseille deck. Yeah. Anyway, I thought I'd update that, because I had this idea, it was just for me, and then I'm like, I wanted to put it on Make Playing Cards, to order my own set, you know, have it, you know, in the nice linen stock, and have it. But then I'm like, you know, I'm going to put it on there. I'll just tell everybody about it. If you want to get it, cool. If you don't, that's okay. It's just Majors only, really for me to work through the Marseille. And I should be, at the rate I'm going, I should be done by September. So I will, of course, tell everybody that watches my channel, you know, it's here if you want to. It's not going to be very expensive. It's just going to be whatever it costs to put it together. So I'm excited about that, because I feel like I'm learning more about the Marseille and really incorporating that into my tarot knowledge. So I wanted to share it with everybody. Anyway, I appreciate you watching, and definitely check out Justin Michael, our our live session, because that was a lot of fun. I enjoyed talking to him. Thanks for watching.